Labas rytas visiems tinklalaidės Laikas muzikai žiūrovams ir klausovams. Ir šį syk norisi pakalbėti apie kovo 22-ąją įvyksantį koncertą ir jau šalia manęs esantį, nors ir ne visai šalia, pianistą Georgijus Osokinas, kuris atliks koncertą kartu su Mikalojaus Konstantino Čiurlionio kvartetu. So I would like to greet you and say good day.
Good day as well. It's nice to be here. Nice to join the interview.
So nice to see you, and I'm very looking forward to see you here in Vilnius. But today we will have online conversation about you. And the first question is about the start of your career. So your prominent international debut was made on 2015 in the Chopin Piano International Competition. So how your career changed after this event?
Well, dramatically and in a good way, because it opens a lot of doors. I had many beautiful concerts, and I still have in Canada, in Asia, in Japan, in China. So it's the impact on my career is enormous. It's a very unusual competition because it focuses only on music of one single composer, and I love it because I have this mono approach in life as well. Let's take books. I don't like to mix, different authors. I like to concentrate on only one. Same with movies. I like this style, and this competition really gave me a lot. Also unlocked on a lot of I would say dimensions in my personality as a musician. So yeah, it was a wonderful time, and it's, I would say, a start of really an international career. Yeah.
And after this competition and during this competition, you got a lot of good critics. And how do you think, how much or how little is the opinion of music critics important to a young artist?
Well, firstly, the critics were very different, and I remember that my performances were quite polemic to most of the people, so it was very divided.
Yes.
Which is, in my opinion, very good, because you cannot please everyone, and my aim is not to provoke, but interpretations which really moved me when I was a witness in the hall. Yes. They also provoked a lot of things in me. But talking about critics, we are judged every day, not only musicians, but we are on the spotlight. Maybe artists are even more than other people, and this is absolutely normal to be judged. Sometimes if you receive bad critics is not so important that someone is writing about you. And there are very different approaches to this topic, but I would say that I'm not that type of personality which perceives critics in a very serious way. I would say that the culture of critics and also culture of performance itself, there is a sort of degradation nowadays. I think that the proper critic should know the score better than a musician, and most of the times critics are so-called critics, they are not fully prepared. They don't know the score, they don't know the music. This is very interesting, the topic. I would say that everything is connected and everything is important. You cannot just avoid and being isolated from this world of magazines, critics, etc. This is a part of concert life. And for me, sometimes it's really interesting when there is a complicated review, honest review, professional review. I try to be open and to capture interesting things. Yeah.
If you're speaking about the art of piano, I think that it requires a lot of time, a lot of concentration, a lot of solitude. And for you, how do you prefer to take the stage? Alone, with an orchestra, or maybe with a quartet, as it will be on 22nd of March in Vilnius?
Like most of the dreams are impossible, you know. And one of these dreams I have is to go in the tradition of 19th century and do not announce the program before the concert. And so for me, the answer is it really depends on the composition and my state of mind, my passion, my interests in the momentum. Of course, I maybe the purest form, the purest genre for me is solo recital, because there everything depends only on me, which is a very rare condition. But also, for example, now I'm very attached to Frank Piano Quintet. I'm surprised that this occasion occurred, and it occurred very spontaneously with the Čiurlionio quartet, which is a ensemble of wonderful musicians, and they invited to have this concert, and there was no discussion what to play. It was in the air. Frank, yes, Frank, we would love to do it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm very attached to this composition, which is very serious, very beautiful, highly emotional, and I would love to play it and to witness this particular moment. Yeah.
About this piece of César Franck, so after
Yeah.
this first premiere of this piece, actually it's aroused not a single scandal, and the first pianist for whom was this piece
Yes, I know.
was Camille Saint-Saëns, and he, after the
Yeah.
performance, he left the open source, and then the critics interpreted as they wanted, and they said, okay, so it means that the music is not very perfect, and he showed it for César Franck. So now we see that your opinion is quietly opposite.
All we know Saint-Saëns, one of the greatest composers of all time, and Franck wrote this piano quintet, which is maybe is actually the most important piano quintet in French music literature. So it's very relative, but such stories, they give how to say, extra perfume to the composition.
And as you mentioned, you would like one day in your dreams to play whatever you want on this day and don't say the program, but
yes, with no announcement. Yeah.
yes, but I know, and the audience know what you will play. So for the sorry,
Yeah.
you know this. So for the first piece and for the first entrance to the stage, you chose the Antonio Vivaldi piece Sicilian, and it's transcribed by Johannes Sebastian Bach. So why did you chose this? I would say sacred work.
Well, it's very interconnected with the next piece I will perform with the Chaconne of Bach Busoni. I'm now performing the partita of Bach in G major. He never traveled abroad. Bach never. He wasn't abroad Germany, but still, if we take partita or his transcriptions of many other works, because he was studying in the library, he was studying a French style, Italian style. And for example, if we take partita, I think this is so actual nowadays, because this is a really, I would say, a manifest of European unity, because it contains Spain, Spanish culture, British culture, Polish culture, French, Italian, all in one, from a person who never were there and never explored this wonderful cultures. So I think it's quite interesting layer of Bach, because after all, it's Bach's language and his approach. So this was my way of thinking when I decided to play it. And Bach Chaconne, this is one of my most beloved pieces, and I think I can
Last
perform it
question, you spoke about the
today.
Johannes Sebastian Bach, the second piece which you will play.
Yeah,
And it was originally written for violin, and then it
yeah.
was arranged for the piano. So, how do you think the arrangement in general of pieces for the other instruments, in this case arranged for the piano, do not distort the composer and main idea of this composition and the musical idea, or maybe something is lost after arrangements? How do you think?
This is an interesting question. In a way, the Brahms arrangement for left hand solely of this particular piece, maybe it's more authentic. Yes, if we are exploring the authenticity. But I think that, you know, all music is arranged in a way. All compositions are arrangements of singing literally of folk songs in a way, in a very simple way, of course. And I think that the modern piano gives so much unlocked possibilities, and it gives so much new breath and new dimensions to just the sound, because for me sound is beginning of everything. And yes, maybe it will not sound like violin and will be not close to the sound of violin, but it should not be close to the sound of violin, because we are not imitators, we are creators of the sound. And if we have such a rich palette of colors to choose from, of course I would choose all colors, yes, or combinations to achieve a sophisticated result. So I think this is not about being authentic to Bach's original idea to compose it for as a part of partita for violin. I think this is about finding new ways. And by the way, Busoni was the pianist, first of all, the pianist who really gave new breath to Bach's piano music, because he was performing it everywhere. It wasn't so performed in the concert stages before. So this was also, you know, a new phase in Bach's music. So I think that's, you know, being an innovator and being creating something new is always helpful instruments. This is evolution in a way, and we must combine these things, and I think it's beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
and I would like to thank for this beautiful conversation and
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Yeah, Jomantės.
to thank for your time and for your very interesting minds. And I really wish you to have this electricity between the audience and you on 22nd of March, and to create what you would like to create, and to feel the joy of music in this moment when you'll be on the stage in National Philharmonic. So I would like to thank you once again, ir noriu padėkoti visiems žiūrovams. Ir tikrai su mielu noru kviečiu Jūs į 22 kovo koncertą, kuris įvyks čia, Lietuvos nacionalinėje Filharmonijoje, kartu su latvių pianistu Georgijus Osokinas ir Čiurlionio kvartetu.